This is the worst demon I could have on my back, which is the shoulda, woulda, coulda demon. And there's a lot of things I wish I could redo and do over, but I made the mistake. I'm feeling mad enough to deal with this.
No, it's not a mistake. It's a choice.
It was a choice. Yes, you're right. It was a choice.
All right, we're just waiting for Mr. Kesey. Thank you. All right, so are you ready for sentencing?
We are, Judge.
All right, just give me a moment. Could I see the file on Kesey, please? Yes. It's Keesee. All right, so Mr. Lewis, as soon as you find stable, are you driving or no?
I am parking, Judge. So
all right, as soon as you're parked and ready to go, we'll take that matter up.
I am ready, Judge. I have just parked.
All right. All right. Brenna, you ready?
Ready.
Court is going to call 2022 CR 3040, State of Texas versus Jeffrey DeMar Kesey. Can I have parties announced for the record? And Mr. Kesey, if you'll approach, please.
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
Your Honor, T. Christopher Lewis on behalf of Jeffrey Kesey.
All right, Mr. Kesey, you entered a plea of no contest on June 27th. And you entered a plea, just one moment. You entered a plea to injury to a child, which is a third-degree felony. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 5 years. There's a $1,500 fine. The state is remaining silent on your application, and there's to be no unsupervised contact with Valentin Kesey. And you've applied for deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, I can't. All right.
Yes, Judge.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
And no objections from the state.
Defense, you have objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
I cannot hear you. All
no
right.
objection, Your Honor. I'm sorry. That's the delay.
All right, thank you. All right, so the state is silent on the application. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
Your Honor, Mr. Kesey will be my witness.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. You're going to have to lower your mask because no one can hear.
Yes.
All right. All right, could you state your name for the record? Jeffrey. All right, thanks. I didn't hear the last part. Your voice went down. All right, defense.
And Mr. Kesey, you understand why you're here today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you remember being interviewed and doing a PSI, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And during that PSI, you expressed a sorrow and some, you explained to the PSI interviewer the lessons you've learned from this experience, is that correct?
Yes, very much so.
And briefly for the court, can you explain to the judge kind of what you've gathered from this experience?
I've gathered a lot down. The classes I took through CPS, I learned how to deal with challenging situations and response on how to instruct the kids better. Also, being the first one in my family ever arrested, this has had open eyes to the system. Yeah, I'm very much sorry and apologize. I wish this never happened. It's the worst feeling I've ever had. That should have worked.
Okay, you're going to have to speak up because I know your attorney can't hear you.
Okay.
If you're finding this story captivating,
Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more gripping true crime content. Your support means a lot. Thank you.
This is the worst demon I could have on my back, which is the shoulda, woulda, coulda demon. And there's a lot of things I wish I could redo and do over, but I made the mistake. I'm being man enough to deal with this.
No, it's not a mistake. It's a choice.
It was a choice. Yes, you're right. It was a choice. It was a poor choice. A very, very poor choice for my son and my family. I put everything I worked so hard for at risk, staying out of trouble for 44 years at risk was something that could have been handled way better, way different.
And Mr. Kesey, through your counseling with CPS and going through your safety plan, did you understand effective ways to instill proper discipline with your son?
Oh, very much so. I have a newfound aspect of how to form discipline for my son and my daughters, unlike how I was raised and how I was taught, which seems to be working a lot better. I'm getting better results out of him and myself.
And to your knowledge, CPS has cleared you of all. You're done with CPS. This case has been dismissed from a CPS perspective.
Yes, everything I know of has been dismissed. I have the 2 certificates here of the classes I have completed. We also got my son, now that COVID somewhat died down, got him evaluated as well. And I have a better understanding of what is going on and better saying what's going on with me.
And it is your intent at some point to be able to have totally unsupervised visitation with your son. Is that correct? And establish that relationship.
Yes. I want to rebuild and get back some of the time we lost at that separation and have moved forward and get closer as individuals and as a family.
And this is your first experience with the criminal court system. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. First one in my family.
Okay. And is your intention to, if you were granted community supervision or deferred adjudication, to follow that to the T? Is that correct?
Oh, to the utmost of my abilities.
Okay. Your Honor, we have nothing further.
All right. Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
I have questions.
Yes.
All right. So I always read the stipulations again, but I remember this case when I received it. So how old was your child?
9 years old.
And according to the stipulations that I've read, he was hit because he didn't make his bed.
No, God.
Okay. Why did you hit him?
He was spanked. Okay, so let me go through that. If I have time.
Oh, we have time.
Okay. My youngest daughter was sick. I believe she had COVID. And we had our nanny watch our other 2 children while we took on the other side to get tested for COVID. Before leaving, I asked my son to mind and apologize our nanny while I'm gone because he was on it all week. And he said yes. We left. Of course, it took forever to get to COVID tests and get the results. While we were waiting, I got a video clip of my son hanging over the banister of the stairs, which is about a 10-foot drop onto the stairs. I told Eric I was handling it when I get home. We got home. I talked to my son. I reminded him of his promise. I also talked to him about why he was getting spanked. Because he was already grounded from TV, grounded from playing with the dogs. I thought I tried everything at that time. So we talked, And I told him something spanking. We agreed on how many spankings he would get. Like normal, because I was still nursing a broken leg from falling in the snow here in February. Still had a brace off that. The picture that bent him over my knees and spankings with a belt on my hand. I had him stand up on the side of our bed and commenced to spank him. And unfortunately, he moved. I guess from what yes tells me, the lower back.
I mean, not what CPS tells you. Did you see the photos?
No, I haven't seen any photos.
Oh, State, do you have the photos?
Yes, Judge.
I'm going to show you the photos so you can see them. I find it odd that CPS would have you go through their program and not show you photos. Because then, if you don't see photos, then, you know, what do you know? What have you learned?
I'm not saying this.
Well, I've been reading these stipulations, and it appears that this is not the first time that you have spanked your son. And according to the stipulations, it says that your son is afraid of you. So I want you to see these photos.
Sorry, Judge, my computer knows it's a Monday.
It is Monday, but you know what? Everybody has some patience in their pocket.
Your Honor, would you want the video? So, did CPS give you the video?
No, we're going to show the bruises. So here's, let me tell you where I'm coming from. This is a child. Children do tend to push boundaries, but I found in my short time on the planet, even though more of my life is behind me than in front of me, I found on my short time on the planet that children like boundaries, even though they try to push them. So whether your child was hanging from a chandelier, whether your 9-year-old was out at the club at 2 a.m., there's no excuse for this. Although I do tell people now, if your child is, Caleb from Children of the Corn, Damien, Rosemary's Baby, then we may be able to talk about this. But even then, this is not the right course to take. You understand?
Only.
Well, I mean, not apologetic to me. You need to be apologetic to your son, because let me just tell you, when stuff like this happens, guess what? The bond has been broken. I don't know that.
Counselor?
I only know that in the report after this happened, your wife gives a statement saying you're a great father.
You didn't get any of the email?
Oh, I have the stips that are in here, but the fact that you've never seen these photographs before tells me that CPS may not have given you a well-rounded view of what's going on. Because I'm a firm believer, if you cause injury to someone, that's a physical injury, you should see it.
Sorry, Judge.
Oh, that's
It's
okay.
just technology. They're coming through. It's just taking
But
it.
see, that is why we should have printouts of photos. I remember back in the day, and Brent, I know you don't know about this. We had the camera with the flash you had to put on the top, and then you would have to take it in and have someone develop it. You know about that? Okay. Have you heard of Polaroids?
Yes.
We thought we were very fancy, once you got the Polaroid, and now you don't even need that.
Well, we would love to print them out, Judge, but you know how the budget goes.
Yes. And Mr. Lewis, were you able to view the photos with your client?
Judge, I did have received the photocopies. I have not reviewed all of the photocopies with my client.
Okay.
He has seen all the other reports, but not the photos.
Would you just like me to show him on the laptop, Judge?
Yes.
It's for all of us.
And see, the problem where you're saying you didn't know you hit him on the leg, doesn't matter whether you didn't know you hit him on the leg or not. You left bruises on a child. Need to make sure your phones are off. So, Mr. Kesey, your son is afraid of you. And from those photos, he has good reason to be. So here's my question for you. Where was his mother when you were disciplining him?
She was upstairs too.
And see, I find that to be a problem because I don't know if I can trust her to protect her children because she says you are a good father. And a good father does not do this. And parents should not be disciplining children if you believe in corporal punishment. And that's choices that people make. You should not be engaging in corporal punishment when you're angry. And obviously, you shouldn't be engaging in corporal punishment at all.
Yes, absolutely. So,
And I always tell parents this because I've done child protective services cases before. I always tell them, basically, when you hit a child, you know what you're saying? Right might makes right. And I'm in charge and you're not. So you have a child who's not your height, not your weight, and you're welling on them because this wasn't I hit him twice and he moved, because he ended up with marks on his thigh and on his back. And when you did that, you didn't even stop. You continued. So don't give me this thing that you hit him once and he moved, because the marks are more than hitting him once.
no, I didn't say.
Answer me this. I'm sure he was crying when you were doing this, was he not? And what were you thinking when he's crying and you continue to hit him?
In this class that I wanted to take on the evaluate before I black and do. No, actually, no, we don't even spend. My father-in-law now has moved in with his brother-in-law, but I moved in with, and they can tell you that that's off the table. Their counselors, we made a promise in the room with the children and the counselors saying, spanking's off the table.
Here's the thing. People make promises all the time. People will take the witness stand and swear to tell the truth and take an oath and then not tell the truth sometimes. So I've been involved with CPS cases where people say we're never going to do this again, and they get their children back, and then guess what? 3 months later, we're back for the same thing.
You would never see me again. So the counselor here that was in the room that I made a promise to, and he's still going to those counselors. All my children that I was going to counseling, and I tend to go to counseling after this.
Who's your child's counselor?
Judge, that's Lori Berkman. She's present.
All right. Then I want to hear from her. So any more questions for Mr. Kesey, State?
No,
Any
Your Honor.
questions? Defense, any more questions for Mr. Kesey?
Not for Mr. Kesey, Judge.
All right. I want to hear from the child's counselor. No, you're not dismissed.
If you're still with us, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with more shocking true crime stories. Your support helps us bring these stories to light. Don't miss out on what's next.
I never thought I would be in civil court. All right, come on up, please. Mr. Villarreal, if you want to take that from her and I'll sign it. Oh. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. Be sure to keep your voice up. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Ari Berkman.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for the counsel, or am I going to just question her? Defense?
Yes, Judge, just a couple of questions that I think you'll end up asking, but let me kind of set the tone. Ms. Berkman, how do you know the Kesey family?
I began working as Jordan's counselor, Valentine's sister, older sister. I began working with her in October of last year.
Okay. And you're well aware of the charges that we're here for today, is that correct?
Yes, I've read the whole CPS report.
Have you had the opportunity to talk to Valentine Kesey?
I have.
Okay, and what are your observations based on your in your professional opinion, in counseling with Valentine?
Initially, Valentine did say that he was scared. He admitted that, and he felt like he was always getting into trouble. But that was right after the event when we were just beginning the counseling. Over time, he has said that he feels more comfortable, that he's not scared anymore. They've put in place every suggestion that I've made for other forms of discipline, which is actually positive discipline. So we're talking about things before they happen. We're talking about the consequences, and there is no corporal punishment at all.
And based on kind of the new operating procedure that's been set in place, what are your long-term concerns with regard to the parenting situation, or Mr. Kesey's parenting of Valentine?
Actually, considering the severity of the initial report, I think that they have taken everything that I've given them and everything that there was a prior counselor that was working to Valentine as well, one of my colleagues. They've taken everything that we've given them and have run with it. They have set everything in place to keep everybody protected and healthy and safe.
Have you also had an opportunity to talk to Mrs. Kesey?
I have.
Okay. And do you have concerns with regard to her role in this situation or moving forward?
I do not. I'm a family that has over time been consistently involved. They have never missed an appointment. They take everything that any suggestion that we give them and they work with it. I've done more than 2 family sessions with the whole group except Monty, the youngest child. And I see a family that has come together in a really beautiful way.
Your Honor, nothing further of this witness.
All right. How long have you been a counselor?
24 years.
And what are you a counselor of?
I am a licensed professional counselor supervisor, so I'm a generalized mental health therapist.
All right. Why were you a counselor for Jordan?
Oh, I was asked to see Jordan because she was manifesting a lot of anxiety after the initial event. And she also has a tendency to kind of follow Valentine, and we were concerned that she would begin to act out a little bit, but she never did.
Who's the prior counselor?
Bob Steve.
Why is he prior?
He moved to another practice and is no longer working with Alamo Heights Counseling. And it was easier to keep them together at the same practice. He's physically located in a different.
So were you the counselor during the pendency of the CPS case?
I was at when I first started with Jordan in October of last year, I believe the case was still, I didn't report to any CPS workers. I did not have any requests to speak with them ever. I just dealt with a family.
All right. And who was the person who supervised the visitations?
The visitation, I'm sorry.
The visitation between the father and the child, because there are usually visits. And I want to know who supervised those interactions. And I want to know how those interactions went. And when was the last time there was a supervised visitation?
I was not involved with any supervised visitation. I don't know who provided supervision at those. I only saw them at the counseling office. And with myself in the office at every moment. They never were alone together at any point. So, but I don't know about the visitations, and I don't do that part.
All right.
My agency provides supervision on occasion, but I don't think we did here.
Right. And so have you seen the interaction between all the parties? Sir, please stop raising your hand. If we need you, we will call you. Thank you. All right. Have you seen the interaction in the home? So who was the caseworker who saw the interaction of the parties in the home? Because usually there's a monitor return. So who was the caseworker for the monitor return?
I'm not aware. I don't know.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Kesey. Who handled the supervised visitation?
My father-in-law, Henry Dorsey.
No. Usually there is a supervised visitation to begin with. They don't immediately begin with the in-laws are handling the supervised visitation.
We did, no. I'm being honest.
Okay.
At first, I was separated from Valentine from the incident when this happened until February 14th, Valentine's Day, which is before the ship of now. And from then on, CPS put my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, because that's where they were staying, with as people with some supervisors.
All right. Has CPS done any monitor returns with you?
They've come by, but they finished up, and they told us they were finished. That was in July, I think. They said they were finished. Our case was closed for them.
Who's the CPS worker?
Oriana, I have a business.
Okay. Ms. Ferguson? He has the business card for the caseworker who is in charge of this case. Can you see if they're available to Zoom in? Because I have questions that have not been answered.
What are the questions?
All right. So, Mr. Lewis, what we're going to do, because I'm not going to make a decision until I've heard from the caseworker. I don't know everything that they have done, and I want to hear from the caseworker.
Understood,
So,
Judge.
If you want to, you can remain logged on, or you can log off. And I anticipate if you could log back in probably at 10:30.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Just have a
Thank
seat.
you, Judge.
Thank you.
All right. And Miss Veneva, could you unmute?
Yes.
All right. Miss Hayden, could you stand in for Mr. Villarreal?
Of course, Judge.
All right. So on this case, you all are silent.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The court requested that the caseworker be present. Could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. You can lower your hand. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Boriana Veneva,
All right. And could you spell your first name
Boryana
and your last name, please?
Veneva.
All right. Is there any objection from the state that this witness is appearing by video?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any objection to this witness appearing by video?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Kesey, do you have any objection to this witness appearing by video?
Yeah.
All right. Were you the caseworker involving Mr. Kesey and his children?
Yes, I was.
All right. Did you ever do any monitored visits or monitored return with Mr. Kesey?
There was supervised visits between him and his child.
And did you ever view any of those supervised visitations?
No, I did not.
So who viewed any supervised visitation that he had?
It was the grandparents. He was court ordered for the grandparents to supervise the visits.
So how does CPS know whether or not the visits went well or not?
So CPS confirmed with the grandparents and also interviewed the child multiple times, and the child did not make any outcries.
All right. So CPS never viewed any of the visitation. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. How often did you speak with the child?
I would see the child on a monthly basis.
All right. And did you see them in the home or did you see them separately?
I would see the children in the home.
All right. And when you interviewed the child, was the child interviewed with the maternal grandparents being present?
No, the child was interviewed privately, just me and the child.
All right. In the home?
Yes, in the home.
When's the last time you spoke with the child?
I believe it was in May of 2020, before I closed the case.
All right. And when you closed the case, what report did you give to the court as far as reunification?
So CPS closed the case with the child Valentine being supervised by the grandparents. The supervision continued, and we closed the case.
All right. So it's CPS's intention that there's to continue to be supervision by the maternal grandparents.
Would you repeat that, please?
So CPS's intention is for there to be continued supervision by the maternal grandparents.
So CPS stepped out since Jeffrey Kesey completed all the services and showed behavior changes. So I would leave that up to the court. We cannot make that determination.
No, my question is, when you closed the case, did you, as a part of your agreement to closing the case, was it CPS's intention that the maternal grandparents were to continue to supervise?
Yes, that was the understanding, yes.
All right. Any questions from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any questions?
Just one question. How long does CPS intend for the supervision to continue, absent direction from the court? Was there any plan in place?
CPS cannot determine that since there is a criminal case and he was court ordered to have those supervised visits. So CPS stepped outside, closed the case. Since he completed his services, showed behavior changes, we didn't have any outcries from the child or grandparents didn't express any concerns. So the case has been closed for over 3 months and CPS cannot make that determination.
Just briefly for the court, when you say that behavioral changes were made by Mr. Kesey, can you describe those behavioral changes that you have stated on a couple occasions?
So when I was interviewing the child didn't make any outcries of physical discipline. He found other methods of disciplining his child other than physical discipline.
Okay. Your Honor, nothing further.
All right. Is this witness excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for appearing.
Thank you.
All right. The state is silent. I'm really not inclined to give you deferred adjudication, but the state is silent. I think you should go to prison. But again, the state is silent. Who are the maternal grandparents? What are their names?
Henry Dorsey and Patricia Dorsey.
Are they living in the household?
They weren't, no,
Well, how are they supervising?
but they are now. But at that time, they weren't.
Yeah. Okay. So have they been supervising since the case has been closed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Where are you working?
I'm working at Fort Sam Institute of Surgical Research.
What are your hours?
I work from 6:45 to sometimes 3:15, 4 o'clock, depends on the experience.
Okay. All right. This is what the court is going to do. Court's going to give you 8 years deferred adjudication. You are only to have contact with Valentine Kesey in the presence of Henry and Patricia Dorsey. So if they ever leave that home, you're going to leave the home. You understand?
8 years now?
Yes. So, defendant is allowed contact with Valentine Kesey under the supervision of Henry and Patricia. How do you spell the last name?
Dorsey, DORSEY.
Under the supervision of Henry and Patricia Dorsey. So there's not to be any contact with the children unless Henry and Patricia Dorsey are present. If Henry and Patricia Dorsey decide that they need to go on vacation and have a break, then you're going to have to leave the household. Do you understand? I'm going to do a 30-day jail sanction. And I'll give you work release. And that is going to start on the 16th. And so, well, because you need to let your employer know. So that's going to start on the 18th. You're going to need to turn yourself in. Do you understand? So you're going to come to court on August 18th to turn yourself in. You need to let your job know that you're not going to be able to show up on the 18th. If you need to take a vacation day, then you're going to have to take a vacation day because that's when your jail sanction is going to start. And I'll give you work release with that. There is to be parenting classes. And do the triple T with him. There's to be regular reporting to probation by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular UAs. I'm going to want field visits. Sorry, probation. There are children involved. It needs to be at least 3 times per month. $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent. No unsupervised contact with Valentine Kesey and probation. I've already stated the persons who are in charge of the supervised contact. It will be the maternal grandparents, not the mother.
And there's also a nanny that lives at the home or that frequently. Would that work as well?
I'm sorry, what?
There's also a nanny that is active in the home. Will that work as well as another supervision?
No.
No, okay.
No, because CPS, for what they've done, they said that the maternal grandparents are to be the supervisors, sorry. So that's who it's going to be. I'm going to want proof of employment within 15 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else that he needs?
No, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else that you need from the court in order to be successful?
How would this affect my security?
I have no idea.
I've done the research for almost 2 million years with federal government.
I mean, I have no idea how that's going to affect that. But here's the thing. Based upon those injuries, you should be going to prison. So you're not.
So what's the prison?
Probation will tell you where you need to check into. I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, and I'm sorry, was there supposed to be an affirmative finding of family violence on this case? State?
Let me check.
Or was that something based upon his clearance that the state decided not to? Because this is family violence.
Can check the file.
Yeah, Your Honor, to my recollection, that was not part of the plea agreement, but we certainly understand that that might have been an issue of discretion for the court.
Right. It wasn't included on the plea paperwork?
No, it was not.
Okay. Then we'll leave it up to the court.
All right. So those are the court's orders then. I'm showing you giving you the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. You can step up and grab that, please. All right, so you'll need to turn yourself in. By the, I'm going to give you till the 18th. So you need to turn yourself in by the 18th. And the deputies will let you know where you need to turn yourself in. All right, and we can go off the record. Here's the thing, Mr. Kesey. I know you're telling me you're sorry for what you've done. I'm sorry, you need to step back. I know you're telling me you're sorry for what you've done. I know you've gone through classes. I'm a little disappointed that CPS didn't view the visitation that you had with your child. But at the end of the day, what you've done to your child, there's a bond that's been broken. And I know he's saying he forgives you. Children are very forgiving. I'm sure there were people who wanted him to forgive you. So I'm sure he did. I've done these type of cases before as a defense attorney, representing parents, representing children. And I know that sometimes intentionally or not intentionally, children feel the vibe in the household and feel like the family is not a family unit because I have this case that's pending. So those are the court's orders, and you're lucky you're not in prison. All right, Chad Pulliam, you're welcome. Chad Pulliam. No, just have a seat.
This case wasn't just about discipline gone wrong. It was about accountability, broken trust, and whether true change is possible after causing harm. Judge Boyd didn't just hand down a sentence. She issued a challenge to every parent watching. What do you do when you've broken something you were supposed to protect? Can remorse and effort rebuild what pain once shattered? Let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you for joining us in uncovering the chilling details of this case. If this story has left you disturbed or reflective, please share your thoughts and reflections. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay with us as we continue to explore the stories that reveal the darkest sides of human behavior. Together, we keep these lessons alive, ensuring the voices of victims are never forgotten. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe or follow.